Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli, and yes, this being another video where I give my thoughts on a subject and such, so yes, that's right. So, you read the title, and I technically, mentioned and teased that I was going to be doing this in a YouTube short, because of, well, I'm sure you've seen it, and yeah, now I'm doing my full thoughts on this. So yes, my thoughts on Lilo and Stitch 2. Yes, the sequel to the live-action Lilo and Stitch remake. So, on 626 Day, we had gotten an announcement that a sequel to the live-action remake of Lilo and Stitch, number 2, is in the works. It's in development as of now. And yeah, well, first off, I am looking forward to this. And with the few things that I mentioned in that YouTube short I did, but this video being my full thoughts on it, well, as I record this, I have still yet to see and watch the live-action Lilo and Stitch remake. But look, I've already, despite the fact I haven't seen it yet, I already know about the changes that happened in the remake, and, well, yeah, even my mom, shout out to my mom, because she had seen the live-action remake in theaters, and according to her, she didn't mind the changes. And let's be honest, unfortunately for me, and I'm sure maybe the same goes for some of you, when hearing the news that Dean Flesher-Camp, was going to have the live-action remake be a proper tribute or something, to the animated film. Well, look, in hindsight, if that's the correct word to use, weren't we all really going to expect that there would be changes to the remake? And sure enough, yeah, they did. Yeah, there were. But I don't know, because the changes that I've heard, sure, I understand. And I respect to those of you and such, how you feel about the changes that have happened in the remake. But, look, I think at the same time, now that we're getting a sequel, I'm sure as though that, yeah, maybe the sequel is going to probably, not only continue the story, but probably do some things that, could have happened in the first one. I mean, because, the two biggies that I can think of. One, the fact that Jumba Jookipa is the main villain, and he doesn't change, he doesn't get redeemed or anything, and he doesn't stay on Earth with Pleakley, Nani, Lilo, Stitch, you know what I'm saying? Becoming a part of Ohana. So yeah, that doesn't happen. And also, Nani, I wouldn't say giving up, just flat out dumping Lilo and such, because, with what was done in the remake, it was unfortunate for Nani that she really wasn't able to have Lilo stay with her and so on. But at the same time, look, in the film, Nani and Lilo knew about, what's-her-face? David's mother or grandmother, I want to say? Yeah, you know who I'm talking about, yeah. So at least, yeah, they're acceptable, and by looking after Lilo and such, and I presume that, for the sequel, probably so, because maybe Nani and Lilo will reunite, and, Lilo will be with Nani again. I mean, we'll just have to wait and see. And the fact that only Pleakley, being the only character to, not just Stitch, but to also remain on Earth and to, keep watch on Stitch. Well, at least we got Pleakley, staying on Earth. And besides, no big changes to Pleakley. I mean, yeah, because the whole thing of Jumba and Pleakley, especially Pleakley, not cross-dressing, even Dean Flesher-Camp, stating that he tried to do it. And besides, this is live action, so it would have been not possible, not easy. So, and unfortunately, the same went for Gantu, because that's another biggie, because no Gantu in the first Lilo and Stitch film. And, look, that probably would have been possible either, because, this is live action. there are certain things that, even for a live-action remake of something Disney, some things that could seem that are not possible. Because they only work in the animated films. Because, yeah, with Gantu's presence, you know, in the animated film when he arrives on Earth, in this, I don't know, and I'm sure maybe you guys would think so too. Even my mom, you know, because she's on the same page too. But, pretty much so, there's no doubt that by the sequel, we're going to get Gantu. And man, because it'll be interesting to see. And if we're going to get Gantu, what Gantu's going to look like finally in live action, well, obviously he have to resemble almost how he is in the animated film. I mean, you know, because, in my opinion, I think that the alien characters that we had seen in the first Lilo and Stitch film from, well, Stitch himself, Jumba, Pleakley, the Grand Councilwoman, and those other alien characters, you know, in the background, they did a spot-on job bringing them to life in live action. I mean, besides, it's great to see that, of course, they have to almost clearly resemble how they did in the animated film. I mean, besides, they're aliens. So, yeah, that helps. And yeah, because I'm pretty sure that, yeah, with the ending of the live-action Lilo and Stitch film, it seemed like even like I had already gotten the sense of feeling even before seeing it that the door being left wide open for a possible another film, and which of course it is happening, yeah. And you know, not to mention that I also heard, and I'm sure you did too, that Chris Sanders he's open to come back to voice Stitch, and yep, of course with the sequel happening, yeah. And you know what? Another thing is, like, you know, Lilo and Stitch being no stranger to having, you know, sequels and more materials. Well, because, you know, not long after the first animated Lilo and Stitch film came out, just 1 year after that, then would be the start of, say, you know, a sequel, like 2 sequels, a TV series, and then 1 more Lilo and Stitch film sequel to wrap things up, which of course being Leroy and Stitch. You know this, of course, but yeah, so already, yeah, Lilo and Stitch being no stranger to having more materials, and yeah, so it's great to see for the live-action remake, you know, we're getting a sequel. And I think it'll be fun. You know, I just think overall it'll be fun with what the sequel to the live-action remake will have in store. Also, the fact, and I also knew about this too, that in the first live-action Lilo and Stitch, there was a tease and reference to the other experiments that Jumba created, like most prominently 625, Reuben, and Angel, and I think, yeah, 627? Yeah. So, there's no doubt that probably by the sequel, we're gonna get more experiments. Yeah, we're gonna get those experiments, and most prominently, you know, Reuben and Angel, yeah, because, you know, I mean, especially Angel becoming another popular experiment right next to Stitch, yeah. You know, especially since Angel having a prominent merchandise, you know, plushies, and, well, I mean, also the fact that on 626 Day, you know, we had Angel making an appearance there. Also, Gantu and Hamsterville appeared there too. And, well, even, like, say, some of the experiment characters like Sparky and Reuben, they appeared as well. Most prominently at Disneyland. Yeah. And that's another thing. Speaking of Hamsterville, Dr. Jacques von Hamsterville, well, we'll have to wait and see. Maybe, possibly, we could also get Dr. Jacques von Hamsterville in the sequel. It seems possible. And what the sequel is going to how that's going to tackle on Hamsterville and Gantu. Because, well, I mean, for one thing, we know that Gantu's hired by Hamsterville, so probably more likely that's going to happen in the sequel, but in a different way, and yeah. And I have no doubt that probably the majority of the cast members from the first live-action Lilo and Stitch, they will more likely, obviously, come back. I think they've, as far as I know, they seem open, of course, to do it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, there's no doubt, of course, that they will come back. But yeah, you know, is there anything else to point out? Because, yeah, well, I mean, I don't know, just look, yeah, I understand to some of you, probably a good majority of you, and you can let me know in the comment section, of course, you know, for those of you how you feel, how you've felt about the live-action remake of Lilo and Stitch, and maybe some of you have liked it, thought the changes were okay. And hey, now that we're getting a sequel, maybe, as of now, things that happened, like Jumba being arrested, he didn't redeem, Lilo no longer being with Nani just for now, well, we will see all that in the sequel where, yeah, because Lilo and Nani will reunite, and Jumba, possibly, he will be redeemed, and so on, yeah. And, you know, I hope as though that for the sequel, and the more updates we get, the more I'll have to say, and anybody else that's doing their own kind of videos, discussing and giving their thoughts on the sequel so far, yeah, the more updates we get, the more we'll have to say, and, you know, just, we can only hope that maybe it could be pretty decent. I mean, I have a good feeling that probably it may not be a huge success, you never know, but I think more than likely, I'm going to, of course, enjoy it, and maybe some of you as well. But yeah, also, since I mentioned about of the cast members more than likely returning for the sequel, that is except for one, that being What's-in-Face, who played the snow cone guy, because, yeah, since we have sadly lost him, yeah, may he rest in peace. So it's a shame that he unfortunately will not be back for the sequel, yeah, since, again, he's passed away, yeah. And, you know, because it wouldn't be the same if we didn't have the snow cone guy, but, you know, I don't think it would seem right if they would recast the snow cone guy. You know what I mean? It just wouldn't seem right. Yeah, it's a shame. But yeah, and, you know, we'll also have to wait and see, like, maybe Dean Fletcher Camp will once again be involved, maybe not as a director, but maybe as a producer, you know, we'll have to wait and see. Maybe this time, and if he will direct, maybe this time, he will make sure to make the sequel pretty good, and with some things that they couldn't do, and that did not happen in the first one. But overall, we will have to wait and see what exactly is going to happen, the more updates we get, and from there on, just for right now, all we know is that it's in the works, in development, and, well, hopefully, because, yeah, it's not going to take them that long to get this underway, and, yeah, and from there on, just overall, I do look forward to this. And that was a nice announcement that was made on 626 Day. Of course, yeah, that was the perfect day to announce it. And, you know, because I was getting somewhat of a few feelings that, you know, maybe we will get a sequel, because I'm pretty sure I saw and read that basically it was kind of like up in the air somewhere, and now it is official, so yeah. But yeah, just again, overall, I look forward to the sequel to the live-action remake of Lilo and Stitch, and maybe the same goes for some of you. But if you're not looking forward to it, and how you feel with the first one, I understand. You're entitled to your opinions. So am I. We all are. Okay, so yeah, just, you know, what say you guys? How you feel about the upcoming sequel to the live-action remake of Lilo and Stitch? If some of you did like it, and you've seen it in theaters, what are you hoping for the sequel? Some things that I've brought up that, yeah, you're probably on the same page as me. And did you have a blast on 626 Day? What did you do on 626 Day? Maybe some of you that went to the parks, or did something at your homes, and wore your Lilo and Stitch get-up. I know my mom did, so yeah. She wore some Lilo and Stitch leggings, yeah. But yeah, just overall, what are your thoughts so far on the planned sequel that's now in development / in the works of the live-action remake of Lilo and Stitch, and with what I've had to say, just, yeah. And what did you think of this video? Me giving my thoughts on the live-action Lilo and Stitch sequel, yeah. Leave comments and give this video a like, as always. And with all that being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video of me giving my thoughts on the upcoming sequel to the live-action remake of Lilo and Stitch. I will see you guys in the next video. Take care, and until we get more updates and I'll make another one of these videos, peace out and aloha. Toki Babawa!